Well, welcome back to Beyond the Office, where we give you the ins and outs, the ups and downs, the good news and bad news about building and leading remote teams. I'm Bill Keller, your host, and today we're going to be going over one of my favorite books of all time. And why go over a book in learning about remote teams? Because this is one of the books that I've used for probably going on 25 years now, when I had my manufacturing business to building my marketing company, and then also now into my staffing company. So what is this book? It is The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, 7 Decisions for Personal Success. And I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it is, for me, a phenomenal book. You can kind of think of it as like Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, but it's written in a novel format. So why is this so crucial, do I believe, for building teams, whether they're local or remote? Because it gives us a common language in which to speak as a company. And so when people come into our company, again, working overseas, one of the ways that I help our team to assimilate into an American culture is we actually have a U.S. coach. And that U.S. coach helps individual team members that we hire in India or Colombia work through this book and kind of talk through some of these principles. And so you're working with 7 different principles. And basically, over my years, I found that if something's going wrong with an employee or with a relationship, an employee relationship, it's generally can be pointed back to one of these 7 principles is going wrong, or they're not implementing those 7 principles. And by going through this book in the beginning of the relationship with us, it gives us this common knowledge as a group to be able to talk about problems in a very open way, and a way that people should understand, because we can go back to, let's say, somebody we see like, hey, it doesn't seem like you really want to be here. I don't know if you guys have ever had an employee and you're just not sure that they want to be at your organization, right? And that's principle number 4. I have a decided heart. And so we kind of will go back to them and say, hey, you don't seem like you really want to be here. You know, when we talked about that in the book, do you really have a decided heart? Is this really the place for you? And you can help them using that same language. That's what we talked about. That common language, I think, is super helpful to be able to move very quickly through what can sometimes be very difficult problems. And so, great book. I'm going to kind of go over the principles really quick so you understand what it's talking about. The first one is, and you have to understand the context of the book, where you have David Ponder, who is having a very troubled time in his life. He has a sick daughter, he's out of work, he has no money, and so he goes back in time and meets 7 historical characters who give him a principle for success. And in doing so, it changes his life. And I've seen this book change my own life and also of others around me. So I know that it works. And that's the great thing. It has huge amounts of power, but it's also greatly entertaining and instructive. And Andy Andrews is an incredible storyteller. If you don't know much about his life, he was actually homeless for a while. His parents died when he was 19. He says he has an incredible gift to take a very bad situation and make it worse. Ended up living under a pier for a while, and then over a period of time just started reading over 200 biographies, and in doing so he changed his life, became a comedian, and has been with I think 5 different presidents of the United States, and an incredible guy and a great storyteller. But in this book, David Ponder goes and meets, the first one is Harry Truman, and the first principle is the buck stops here. And that's the responsibility decision. And that's really important, I think, in our today's society is people don't want to accept responsibility because they're afraid that it's the same thing as accepting blame. And they don't understand that blame and responsibility are 2 different things. Blame is who is at fault. Responsibility is who's going to be responsible for making the problem better. And so that's super important for us. The second one is I will seek wisdom. And I said I'm an avid reader. I really encourage our people, whether it's in India or Colombia or Pakistan or Venezuela or Bangladesh, to be growing and to be learning constantly. There's a quote that I love by Eric Hoffer: "The learners will inherit the earth, while the learned are well equipped to inherit a world that no longer exists." And so I preach that every day. And in the second decision, I will seek wisdom, we see that evidenced there. And so the third one is I am a person of action. So many times we know what to do, but we just don't do it. We don't take that action we need to take. And oftentimes we see this in the workers, that come in, they know what to do, but they're afraid to take action. They're afraid to move forward. And so we can kind of point them back to the third decision. And the fourth decision, like I've already talked about, as I have a decided heart. Do we know where we want to go? Do we have a vision for the future? And helping them to create that vision for themselves, both on a personal side and on a business side, super important. Then the fifth decision, today I will decide to be happy. And I don't know about you, but I love coming into an office where people are happy to be there. I don't know if you've ever gone to an office and everybody's like, this is the worst place ever. I hate being here. Just kill me. I can't wait for the weekend. But happiness is a choice. Many people don't think that. They think it's external to themselves and they don't really have a choice in the matter. But the book talks about that. This is really an internal choice. And helping your employees to understand that makes your workplace so much better as they start to, again, go back to the first decision. These are all interwoven. They go back to the first decision, the responsibility decision. It's my responsibility to make myself happy, right? Today I will choose to be happy. So fifth decision. And the sixth decision is I have a forgiving spirit. And so many times when we're in a workplace where maybe we say something that hurts somebody else, right? Well, one, can we forgive them? But also, can we go out and seek forgiveness? And when we put our egos aside and can ask for forgiveness, but then also put our right to feel hurt, I guess, aside, it moves our organizations forward in ways that you couldn't imagine, as people can put some of their grievances aside as we really try to focus towards a common goal. And then the seventh and final decision is I will persist without exception. And so many times we've seen this where people are, they go so far and then they stop, right? They think that's enough. They shouldn't have to go further. But success is just on the other side of comfort, and they just need to persist just a little bit longer. And so all these principles added together give us, like I was telling you about, this common language that we use across countries, across cultures. Even in India, in our other episodes, we talked about it being just this hodgepodge of different cultures that are all put into one country, speaking different languages and different customs, different religions. And when we can understand that, it helps to bring people together in ways that I've been surprised at. And so really encourage you to pick this up, The Traveler's Gift by Andy Andrews, and see if you can't use it for building your teams and giving you that common language to take you to the next level. So until next time, thanks for joining us at Beyond the Office. So if you'd like to learn more about remote staffing, feel free to message us for our free guide, The 7 Deadly Sins of Remote Staffing, and how to make sure that you don't commit them and you're successful in your remote hiring journey.